Is TikTok spying on you? The evidence is mounting and it's got the US government scrambling to ban it. It's the app that launched 1,000 dance crazes and turned bedroom vloggers into overnight stars. But TikTok's fun, addictive allure masks a darker side. One of political intrigue, global power plays, and a battle for control over your digital life.
Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
I find that hard to believe.
TikTok's CEO insists there's nothing to fear, but the FBI warns it's a spy balloon in Americans' phones. The US government has passed a law to force its sale, and other countries are following suit. Buckle up, because we are about to expose the secrets behind TikTok's meteoric rise, the power of its algorithm, the genius marketing that led to its success, and controversy surrounding its data practices. But how did a fun app, downloaded over 4 billion times in just a few years, become the center of a global political firestorm? Is TikTok truly a threat, or is it being scapegoated for larger geopolitical tensions? And most importantly, what is the US government really afraid of? TikTok. It's the app you can't stop scrolling through even as it's being banned, investigated, and labeled a national security threat. What makes this Chinese-owned platform so irresistible and yet so dangerous? To answer that, we need to go back to the beginning, to the mind of a young Chinese entrepreneur named Zhang Yiming. He had a vision not just for a fun app, but for a global tech empire that would rival Google and Facebook. Zhang was inspired by the lives of Steve Jobs, and he dreamed of building a company as borderless as the internet itself. But this was no small feat for a Chinese company. China's internet is essentially a walled garden, separate from the rest of the world, with platforms like YouTube and Facebook banned. But Zhang was undeterred. He founded ByteDance in 2012, and the company quickly became known as an app factory, churning out a dozen different apps in just a few months. Some were, let's just say, not exactly highbrow. An example would be Laugh So Hard You Get Pregnant and Real Beauties. Despite the early reputation, Zhang had his sights set on something bigger. One day, while sitting on the train, he noticed how people were increasingly getting their news and information from their phones. And he had an epiphany. What if he could create an app that delivered personalized news to each user, using AI and machine learning to create the perfect feed? This led to the creation of Toutiao, which translates as headlines. Toutiao was a news app that quickly became a massive hit in China. Zhang said, "We want to become the information platform that understands you best. Uber matches people to cars, we match people to information." The idea was simple, but at the time quite revolutionary. By tracking every single tap, pause, and swipe, ByteDance's algorithm was quickly able to understand users even better than they understood themselves. But Zhang wasn't satisfied. He knew ByteDance needed to keep innovating to stay ahead of the competition. In 2016, Zhang had another game-changing idea, an idea that would not only transform ByteDance, but also reshape the entire social media landscape. An idea that would eventually become
TikTok.
TikTok. Let's take a look at the numbers. The average user of ByteDance's news app, Toutiao, spent a whopping 74 minutes per day scrolling through its personalized feed. Why? Because ByteDance had cracked the code of the algorithm. It wasn't just about delivering news, it was about delivering the right news to the right person at the right time. ByteDance realized they could apply this same addictive formula to short videos. In 2016, they launched Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. It was the same concept, same logo, same interface, but with a few differences tailored to the Chinese market. Douyin featured a positive energy section promoting the Chinese government, and it even experimented with advanced facial recognition technology, allowing users to search for videos by tapping on the face. a feature that sparked lawsuits when ByteDance considered bringing it to TikTok. But the real secret weapon shared by both versions was the powerful algorithm. Unlike other social media platforms, TikTok's For You page isn't based on who you follow. You open the app and it starts feeding you videos. The more you watch, the more it learns about your preferences, creating a personalized feed that's almost impossible to resist. It's like a slot machine. Each swipe brings the possibility of a new, exciting video. Psychologists have even drawn parallels between the two, noting how both trigger the release of dopamine in the brain, creating a cycle of anticipation and reward. Because you consume so many short videos in such a short time, the algorithm gets a ton of data on what you like and don't like. You could easily watch 100 videos in one sitting compared to YouTube, where you might only watch a few. And since your feed isn't limited to people you know, you'll never run out of videos to watch. ByteDance didn't stop there. They added features like a never-ending scroll and a back button that serves up a new video instead of taking you out of the app. These design choices, intentional or not, make it incredibly difficult to put the phone down. One user described it as being addicted, admitting to spending 7 to 8 hours a day scrolling through the app. But ByteDance also faced a challenge. How can they get enough people creating content to feed the algorithm? The genius solution was a 5-part plan. First, unlike platforms like YouTube, where high-quality production values were often a prerequisite for success, TikTok made it ridiculously easy to create and share videos. With a few taps, anyone could add filters, music, and effects, transforming even the most mundane selfie video into something eye-catching. They lowered the barrier to entry. Second, remember the Ice Bucket Challenge? TikTok took that concept and ran with it, creating an endless stream of trends and challenges that were easy to replicate and encouraged participation. Suddenly, you didn't need to be a creative genius to go viral. You just needed to learn the latest dance or try the latest prank. They completely gamified the experience with challenges. Third, the algorithm was designed to give a wide range of videos exposure, even if they weren't the highest quality. This led to countless stories of ordinary people becoming overnight sensations, racking up millions of views and followers in a matter of weeks. They gave people and creators a taste of fame. Fourth, ByteDance actively recruited, some people even say bribed, top talents from other platforms, offering them lucrative deals to come and create content for TikTok. They even reportedly scouted art schools for promising young creators, dangling the carrot of fame and fortune. They weren't afraid to spend money. Finally, top TikTokers were assigned personal account managers who offered support, advice, and even help with school assignments or relationship issues. It was all part of a strategy to keep creators happy, engaged, and producing a steady stream of content. They prioritized nurturing relationships with their top creators. This 5-part plan was a resounding success. It transformed TikTok from just another video app into a global content creation machine, with a seemingly endless supply of videos to feed the algorithm's insatiable appetite. This strategy worked like a charm in China. Douyin went viral, and competitors struggled to keep up. ByteDance had cracked the code, and now they were ready to take TikTok global. In 2017, they officially launched the international version of the app. And while Zhang Yumin had always been ambitious, even he couldn't have predicted the global craziness that was about to begin. You see, TikTok's success wasn't just luck. It was a carefully orchestrated campaign that even outmaneuvered the reigning giants of social media. In China, ByteDance had already experimented with some eyebrow-raising tactics, like striking deals with phone shops to pre-install Douyin on new devices. But their international strategy was even more ingenious. One of their first moves was to encourage users to share their TikTok videos on other platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat. This might seem counterintuitive, but there was a method to the madness. Every TikTok video carries a watermark promoting the app, turning each share into a free advertisement. It's a safe bet that even if you've never used TikTok, you've seen that watermark somewhere. ByteDance even went as far as creating fake accounts on other platforms, flooding them with the most engaging TikTok content. They understood that repeated exposure to that watermark would eventually pique curiosity and drive downloads. This free promotion was just the tip of the iceberg. They also invested heavily in paid advertising, cleverly using user-generated content as ads to cut costs. This allowed them to pour millions into ad campaigns across major platforms, starting in highly populated, cost-effective regions like India. This strategy catapulted the app to the top of the App Store charts, generating even more organic buzz. But it didn't stop there. ByteDance then targeted micro-influencers, promising them TikTok stardom in exchange for content. Many influencers, frustrated with slow growth on other platforms, jumped ship. Then they went after the big fish, offering hefty sums to celebrities and top influencers. It even been reported that ByteDance paid $1 million to one unnamed influencer for a single TikTok video. At its peak, ByteDance was spending $3 million a day on ads, prioritizing growth over profit. But their efforts paid off. TikTok quickly became the place to be, with celebrities flocking to the platform voluntarily. But just as TikTok's global dominance seemed unstoppable, a perfect storm was brewing. The COVID-19 pandemic supercharged TikTok's growth, with users opening the app an average of 8 times a day during lockdowns. But beneath the surface, a series of controversies and concerns were festering. And in a flash, the very success that ByteDance had so meticulously engineered, all of their hard work was about to come crashing down. As TikTok's popularity soared, so did the controversies. By 2019, India had banned TikTok due to claims of spreading explicit content, resulting in a loss of roughly 200 million users. Pakistan followed suit, only to temporarily lift the ban, then reinstate it due to concerns about data privacy. This was just the start of a domino effect, with more and more governments raising red flags about TikTok. But what exactly were they worried about? For starters, the sheer amount of data TikTok collects raised eyebrows. The app requests access to your videos, photos, microphone, camera, contacts, messages, other apps, browsing history, search history, keystrokes, and even your location. While data collection is common among all social media platforms, TikTok's ties to China made this different. China's national intelligence law mandates that all companies within its borders must share data with the government if requested, without needing a warrant. The government can even seize control of a company if it chooses. So the idea of the Chinese government having access to the personal data collected by TikTok was deeply unsettling. A senator went so far as to call TikTok a Trojan horse, while the Financial Times reported ByteDance was trying to skirt Apple's privacy policies. One security expert warned, every bit and byte of data that TikTok collects is under the scope of China's intelligence law. This is why the US Armed Services banned the app on government devices. TikTok's response was a firm denial. They repeatedly claimed they've never shared data with the Chinese government and never would. Some argue that the backlash against TikTok was more about geopolitical tensions with China than actual evidence of wrongdoing. But the concerns extended beyond data privacy. The app's algorithm, while a marvel of personalization, also had a dark side. It could lead users down disturbing rabbit holes, exposing them to harmful content like dangerous challenges, misinformation, and even videos promoting self-harm. One tragic example was the Benadryl overdose challenge, which tragically resulted in a death. TikTok has been accused of censorship, suppressing content deemed undesirable or politically sensitive to the Chinese government. Leaked documents revealed that moderators were instructed to limit the visibility of videos mentioning topics like the Tiananmen Square protests or Tibetan independence. This raised concerns about the platform's potential for manipulating public opinion and stifling dissent. However, despite all these issues, predators, dark rabbit holes, dangerous challenges, censorship, bullying, and plenty of other problems, TikTok has become the world's hottest platform, and from a business perspective, it's a clear success story and now one of the world's largest private companies. But there's one final piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. That's perhaps the most crucial piece. It's 2024. In the United States, tensions escalated to the point where a new law was passed, essentially giving ByteDance an ultimatum: sell TikTok or face a nationwide ban. TikTok didn't take this lying down. They fired back with a lawsuit, arguing that the forced sale was unconstitutional and would harm their 170 million American users. The big question is, if ByteDance is forced to sell, who would buy TikTok? Microsoft was once a front runner, but the deal fell through. Why? Because the Chinese government made it clear that they won't allow the sale of TikTok's most valuable asset, its powerful algorithm. This puts any potential buyer in a tricky position. Without the algorithm, TikTok is just another video app. One thing's for sure, this isn't just about a social media app anymore. It's about the future of data privacy, national security, and the power dynamics between governments and tech giants. And as the world watches this drama unfold, ByteDance is already quietly working on their next move, a move that could change the game entirely. Let's look beyond the viral dances and funny pranks to the broader impact TikTok is having on our world. The music industry, for one, has been completely transformed by TikTok. It's a new way for artists to get discovered, and record labels are paying big bucks to have their songs featured in viral videos. Take the story of Montero Hill, an unemployed college dropout sleeping on his sister's floor. He had a dream of becoming a rap artist, but his music wasn't going nowhere. Then one day, a TikTok user featured his song Old Town Road in a video. The rest is history. Montero, now known as Lil Nas X, became a global superstar, and Old Town Road became one of the most successful songs of all time. Doja Cat is another example of an artist whose career was launched by TikTok. But ByteDance's ambitions go far beyond music. They are already making moves into long-form video with their app Watermelon, which has secured licensing deals with the BBC, PBS, and others, and even hired the former head of Disney+. And it doesn't stop at video. ByteDance has its sights set on gaming, education, financial technology, cloud hosting, and even search engines. They even have a business software called Lark, combining email, chat, video calls, calendars, and cloud document storage. It's clear that TikTok was just the first step. To be honest, it's impossible to predict exactly where ByteDance is heading and how powerful they're going to become. But one thing is clear, Zhang Yiming's dream of building a company as borderless as Google has become a reality. But what if the biggest threat isn't TikTok itself, but what it represents? What if this is just the first shot in a new kind of war? A war for control of the very fabric of our digital lives. A war where the lines between entertainment, information, and influence are blurred beyond recognition. A war where the stakes are higher than ever before, and the battlefield is your phone. This video forced me to learn how to pronounce certain Chinese words, and if you did enjoy it, you will enjoy the story of how Netflix proved its haters wrong again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.